What if I told you that a single slasher franchise managed to turn self-aware horror into a global phenomenon, raking in over $900 million at the box office without ever relying on the kind of blockbuster budgets that dominate Hollywood today? That's the brilliance of the Scream formula. Not only has it been incredibly profitable, but it's also redefined the horror genre multiple times over. After more than a decade away from theaters, the franchise made a triumphant return in 2022. The Scream reboot wasn't just a nostalgic trip, it was a calculated reinvention that proved the brand still held serious cultural and financial value. Produced on a modest $24 million budget, the film managed to slash its way to $137 million worldwide. What made it so effective wasn't just nostalgia, it was the way it embraced modern pop culture. By leaning into reboot culture, viral internet fame, and the integration of current technology into its storyline, the movie successfully introduced Ghostface to a new generation while still keeping longtime fans invested. This careful balancing act between old and new is part of what makes the franchise unique. Unlike other horror movies that either try too hard to appeal to nostalgia or completely reinvent themselves, Scream finds a middle ground. It respects its history while feeling fresh, making it accessible to both new audiences and fans who grew up with the original films. Next up was Scream 3, which took a different approach. Moving the action to Hollywood itself, the third installment came with a significantly higher $40 million budget. The filmmakers decided to tone down the violence slightly and lean into sharper satire, poking fun at the film industry even as they delivered suspense and scares. Despite these changes, Scream 3 was still a financial success, bringing in $161.8 million globally and closing out the original trilogy as a solid performer. This showed that the franchise wasn't just a one-hit wonder, it had staying power and the ability to adapt to different storytelling strategies while remaining commercially viable. The franchise continued to evolve, with Scream 6 taking it to entirely new heights, literally and figuratively, by relocating the story to the bustling streets of New York City. With larger and more dynamic locations, high-stakes set pieces, and a slightly higher production budget of $33 million, the filmmakers upped the ante. This gamble paid off handsomely, as the film earned $166 million worldwide. Not only did it become the highest-grossing installment since the original trilogy, but it also proved that the franchise could grow, innovate, and remain relevant even decades after its initial release. Of course, to truly understand the momentum of the franchise, we have to go back to Scream 2, released just 1 year after the original film. Produced for a mere $14 million, it expanded the story's scale and intensity, delivering even bigger thrills than its predecessor. Its $172.4 million worldwide haul confirmed what many fans and critics suspected: Scream wasn't a fluke. It was the start of a franchise that could reliably deliver both suspense and profit, and it all began with the original Scream in 1996. At the time, slasher films were widely considered a dying genre. Audiences were growing tired of the typical formula, and studios were hesitant to take risks on yet another masked killer. But Scream did something different. It was self-aware. It acknowledged the clichés of the genre while simultaneously delivering them in ways that felt new, sharp, and genuinely frightening. With a modest $14 million budget, the movie went on to earn $173 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing film in the series and single-handedly reviving the slasher genre almost overnight. The financial success of Scream is staggering when you consider the numbers. Across 6 films, the franchise has generated over $911 million globally, all from a combined production budget of just $176 million. That makes Scream one of the most efficient, profitable, and well-managed horror franchises in cinematic history. Few other horror series can boast such a remarkable return on investment while maintaining consistent cultural relevance, but the numbers only tell part of the story. The true genius of Scream lies in its ability to evolve with its audience. From the 90s meta-commentary on horror tropes to the 2022 reboot's commentary on social media and internet fame, the franchise adapts to the cultural climate without losing the core appeal of a masked killer stalking victims. This adaptability is why Ghostface continues to resonate with audiences, old and new, and the story isn't over yet. With Scream 7 already slated to hit theaters in 2027, Ghostface is far from finished. The franchise continues to innovate, hinting at bigger set pieces, new locations, and stories that might push the envelope even further. For fans, this is exciting news. For the studio, it's a reminder that some horror icons never truly die, they just keep collecting paychecks. In the end, Scream isn't just a series of movies, it's a case study in smart filmmaking, brand longevity, and audience engagement. It proves that with the right mix of nostalgia, innovation, and understanding of cultural trends, a horror franchise can thrive financially while leaving a lasting impact on popular culture. Ghostface isn't just a villain, it's a symbol of what happens when horror embraces self-awareness, clever storytelling, and strategic evolution. From a $14 million gamble in 1996 to a global powerhouse generating hundreds of millions, Scream remains a shining example of how a smart, well-executed horror series can keep audiences on the edge of their seats and studios in the black for decades.